What's going on, gang? Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at Transformers The Last Knight, Leader Class Megatron. I picked this figure up over at BigBadToyStore.com. My initial opinion of Megatron right out of the box is he looks okay. I like all of the silver highlighting and washing done on the body. The kind of muted gold works pretty well, and the head sculpt is creepy. Like, really creepy. I mean, look at that head sculpt. That's not even creepy. That's just plain terrifying. There is a gimmick with the head sculpt where you flip a panel or a switch in the back of the head, and then the face will flip, or the mouth will flip, and he gets his battle mask. While I appreciate the addition of this, I don't think the execution is very good, simply because the switch that is on the back of his head is incredibly difficult to get moving correctly, and requires a little bit too much force, I think, for the gimmick to take effect. Plus, even with the switch moved all the way into the most upright position, the mouth doesn't close all the way. You still have to push the mouth or the horns in to get the battle mask look. Your posability of the figure is okay, but there are some real problems here. Head is on a swivel. Shoulders move forward and back, in and out. There is a very tight swivel at the upper arm. Bend at the elbow is inward. Fists do move, but you're left with this empty forearm on both arms due to the way the transformation happens. No torso articulation. Legs have forward and back ratchets, and there should be ratchets in and out on both legs, but there are not. I'm pretty sure whoever produced these figures did something incorrect. I don't think the ratchets are supposed to be this loose. There is no ratcheting for a good quarter, or I'd say a good, bit of the ratchet. Also, the ratchets are very light. It requires virtually no force in order to make the legs move. Plus, the figure is overly top-heavy because of the cannon here on the right arm. I'll get into the cannon in a minute. So the figure is constantly listing to the right like that. And if he's on a very slick surface and you push down at all, his feet have a tendency to collapse at the ankles or the knees, and he just does the splits or falls right over. Also, the knees are a little bit on the loose side. That's fixable. I have no idea how to fix these ratchets. These ratchets are a mess, and I am not the only person who's gotten a hold of this figure to have this problem. Pia, Emgo, and a couple of other reviewers have also had this problem. The shield cannon carried in robot mode is simply massive. It is just enormous, and it is incredibly heavy, especially on the figure. It's supposed to collapse to form the nose cone of the jet, and then opens up in jet mode with the push of a button. But it's so big and so heavy because of the gimmick and the reveal gimmick that it just unbalances the figure as a whole. The figure is also heavy due to this larger backpack, and his limbs are also pretty darn heavy. I'm not exactly sure why, because they're mostly hollow. Megatron comes with 3 accessories, 2 giant flame accessories that are exactly the same, and then his sword, which is fan-freaking-tastic. It looks wonderful. I adore the modeling of this sword, and just the overall look of it is just really good. You could place one of the flames coming out of his cannon, just like he did in the movie, though he only kind of used it once to yell at Barricade. It's okay, but these suckers aren't light either, so you pretty much double the weight that is being put on that right arm. The flames are also mountable in robot mode and look patentedly ridiculous. I love this. I think this works better, or I think this is the best use of the flames in any of the modes. The jet thrusters are pointing out of his back, so I couldn't help myself. Megatron's transformation is very similar to the Voyager class figure, though it is pretty complex. To start off with, we'll change him into battle mask mode. You don't need to do that. I just like to do it. Come to the left hand, fold up the fist into the forearm, and open this panel out and fold it all the way out, or as far as it will go. And you will snap it off, so just snap it back into place. come over to the right arm and close the nose cone of the jet mode. I'm going to warn you now, this nose cone is going to open up multiple times through this transformation because the latch that is holding them in place is not very strong. In fact, let me see if I can get it to do it. Oh, there we go. I just wiggled it a little bit and it did it. And when it does that, you have to engage both of them to open. Otherwise, they won't lock into place when you go to put them back. So, well, or they could just curse you right now and not go back into place. Next, we will take the arms and fold them straight up to the sky and engage the flipping out of the cannon mode. Reach up to this panel gap in the shoulders and grab it and open it all the way up and fold his chest all the way open like that. Take the head, fold it as far in here as it will go, and then this whole section will fold up and peg into place right there. And if you're wondering why this looks so weird, that's because it does look weird. But I just realized I screwed up. We don't want to fold the head up yet. So we want to take the arms and fold them in. And collapse them and get this panel right here hooked into place on that little latch right there. And then we can fold the cannon out and push it away. And then flip the fist in and unpeg the cannon. Flip it up all the way. Pray to the Transformers gods that this thing holds together long enough so that we can flip the arm around and get the arm, or upper arm, pegged into place. Flip the canopy around, get that pegged in to where it needs to be, and then all situated, and then curse as everything falls apart. This is what you want the canopy and the front of the plane mode to look like when you've got everything combined correctly. And when this happens, you need to pull the cannon all the way out, push it all the way back in till it snaps, and then fold it back up and peg it into place. First, we can fold up the chest and peg it into place on that peg that we were talking about earlier. And yes, the chest is supposed to stick out of the plane mode this much. I'll tell you why later. So now we'll come down to the legs and come to the back of the shins and flip out these little wing panels. Then come back to the feet and flip out the engines and straighten out the toes. And according to the directions, you're supposed to be able to fold the feet or the front toes all the way up against the engines. That doesn't work. So next we take the legs and point and turn them at the thigh swivel to where the knees are pointing to the inside of the robot mode, and then flip them around and bring them all the way up to this section right under the armpits, and they will peg into place. So we can do that by first unpegging the thigh ratchet and then bending the knee up, peg those into place, and put the chest back in place. And yes, throughout this entire procedure, the chest will come unpegged multiple times. And so will the feet. And so will the front of the nose cone. All in all, this thing doesn't hold together very well. All right, we are almost done. Now for the backpack and the wings. And I realized I popped off yet another piece. Now for the wings. And this is where things get just a bit more complicated because of the way the wings fold up. First, we fold them out 90 degrees, then grab the wings and fold them forward. You could also do this before you fold them out 90 degrees. Make sure that the wings look like that. Then come to the inside of the wings and pull them back and up just enough to pop this piece off. So this section that is the engine thrusters will fold all the way back and snap into place at the back, and then the wings will fold up and out of the way, and then this section of the wing will connect to the main wing. So we'll do the same thing over here. We grab it and just kind of wiggle it away from that section. And I thought I was going to break this thing when I first did it. Fold up this back wing, flip out the thruster, gently push it down onto the peg that's back here, Fold the wing all the way up in place and connect it. Once we have the wings all ready to go, we have to grab the section that the wings are attached to, and it is on a double hinge. Fold it back, snap it into place, and then we can fold the wings down over the outside of the legs. And there's a little peg there, which will peg into the wing here. And then the engine section will fold over the back of the knee. And this is a little bit difficult, a little bit tricky. But if everything is lined up correctly, it'll just go right on top. And then we come back to the front of the nose cone and fix it again. Last but not least, we come to the underside of the front of the vehicle mode and fold out the landing gear. So we have a landing gear that he can rest on, and then the rear landing gear is actually his robot chest. So, yeah. And that is the plane mode. The transformation is a little bit kludgy, but the plane mode you end up with is really, really nice. I like this plane mode a lot. I still think the Voyager class figure is better. Now, what can you do with the accessories? Well, the sword pegs in up top in this little peg hole, like that. And that's how you store the sword. Then the giant fireballs can be pegged into the engines so that it can look like it's flying through the air with afterburners. Or you can open up the cannon in the front and put one of the fireballs in the cannon, which I don't remember him doing this ever in the movie. But then again, it's hard to remember anything that happened in a Michael Bay movie. So the plane mode does sport a good bit of detail and looks pretty good, as I said. Just giving you guys a nice up-close look. I don't know what those symbols on the wings mean. They probably only just say Megatron or something. The overall aesthetic of this figure is fine in plane mode. I think plane mode is really pretty good. The only thing I don't like, other than the constantly opening nose cone, is these little pieces of rubber that were his front skirts just stick off the back in plane mode. There's nowhere to put them. They don't fold anywhere. Oh well. Overall, though, plane mode is excellent. But the robot mode isn't nearly as good. I get what Hasbro has been trying to do with this, but there's nothing here that is overly good, as opposed to the Voyager class figure, which is probably the perfect Megatron figure that I can imagine in this day and age. There are some good ideas here, but the issue with the hips is a major, major problem. I don't particularly like the face-changing gimmick, but plenty of people do, so I'm giving it a pass. And the problematic shield cannon here in robot mode is dumb. Overall, is it worth your money? Not really. Get the Voyager class figure. You're going to have a lot more fun with that than you would this one. If you see this guy for like $30, sure, go ahead and pick it up. But as current retail price is between $50 and $60 online, he's a good pass for now. So, okay, thank you for watching this video review. As always, I am Baltmatrix. Ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. I picked this up over at BigBadToyStore.com. And I will catch you next time.